got rejected by many different franchises before I landed the sales associate.
Yeah, okay. So you were sales associate for how long at 18?
4 years.
4 years. Oh my God.
4 years.
And there's associates out there complaining about being an associate for a year. If you could go back and do it again, what would you do differently?
Soaking up as much information as I could back then and looking outside of the office I was in for information, like learning from others in terms of how they did it and why they did that and how they were successful.
Guys, you have to look outside the office that you're in for other information about how this industry works. You'd been 15 years at the same office.
Yep.
And you had a great time there. You learned a lot. You grew a lot. What was the reason for you to go and start your own?
It's a good question. I think ultimately I was comfortable.
Now you're very far progressed. You're 15 years in. You've got the hang of it now. You've even opened your own business.
Yep.
What's the best 2 ways that you get listings now? Agents, welcome to the Get Keen podcast, your #1 destination for learning how to get the most out of your real estate career. I'm Dan Lee, founder of Plum Property, one of Queensland's largest independent real estate offices, and Plum Partners, where we've helped dozens of agents create, run and grow their very own agencies. On Get Keen, I chat to high-performing agents, principals, and agency owners, so you have the tools, strategies, and insights to grow your business and live the best life for yourself and your family. Now let's get keen. Welcome back to Get Keen. You're here to learn more. You're here to get better at real estate. You're here to get ahead. Of course you are. That's why I've got the industry's best guests in real estate, high-performing sales agents and principals, people running their own business, people that have been there, done that, started from the bottom and got to some of the highest levels in real estate sales. And the man I've got sitting across from me today, man, this guy knows how to sell property. He's been in the game 15 years. He started as a sales associate for a franchise. He stayed at the same office for about 15 years. He was at one time on the Young Gun list for REB, a top performer, a top 50 deal maker in 2020, a lifetime member of the LJ Hooker Captains Club when he was there. He's in the top 2% of real estate agents. And recently, 6 months ago, you took the step to open your own business as well. Welcome, Jonathan Vine.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate.
Best podcast intro yet.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I love a good intro. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming all this way. So New Property
Yep.
is the name of your new business.
It is.
And how's it going so far?
It's good. It's a challenge, well outside of my comfort zone, which is ultimately what I wanted by taking this step. But it's good. We're, like I said, 6-7 months in. Sales are racking up and we're getting the brand out there. So it's good.
Mate, you've done really well. And you're a great success story because you know, nothing was handed to you. You started from the ground up, in your early 20s. 18. Straight out of high school. Take us back to that time and what were your options and why'd you get into real estate and where'd you land?
I landed in real estate. I sort of fell into it. I didn't really know what I wanted to do out of school. Didn't really get a fantastic OP score. It was like 14 or 15 or something. So I think it was my mum suggested real estate. She paid for the course for me via correspondence. Took me about 6 months to complete. Got rejected by many different franchises before I landed the sales associate at LJ Hooker. So that was with a local office as well. My family had done a little bit of business with the principal there. So
yeah, okay. So you were sales associate for how long at 18?
4 years.
4 years. Oh my God.
4 years.
And there's associates out there complaining about being an associate for a year. This man did it for 4 years to learn his craft.
And it was from the ground, like putting up the signs, building and pest valuations. I don't think I really did anything in terms of selling for the first 18 months. So I was a sign guy, Saturday morning, 100 signs up around the suburb. Then I'd go and help at open homes, rental inspections, rental photos on a digital camera.
Oh, really? Everything? All office duties?
Office duties. Not everyone's associate. Every salesperson's associate.
You were everyone's associate. That's awesome. I mean, I guess you got a full view of all the different things in the business so you could see what you might like and dislike. So go through the career progression a bit more. So 4 years in, you went out on your own?
4 years, yeah. I think by the age of 22, I was commission only. So 12 months prior to that, I was working pretty closely with the principal. He was letting me do my own thing, but still attached to him.
To his name, and doing a lot of their work for them as lead agent.
He had sort of stepped away from selling. So any of the leads that he was getting would come to me, pitch, secure with his backing, and then run the sales process. And then eventually, I think I was 22, I was commissioner.
So being quite young then, when you were in a position where you're, in living rooms pitching for business, that's quite young, isn't it? 21, 22 to be, for people a lot older than you, 20, 30 years older than you, go, I'll give my house to sell to this 21, 22-year-old. What did you have to get really good at?
Product knowledge, I think, was key. I knew the area. I'd grown up in the area, went to high school in the area. So, all of that extra stuff I'd done over the previous years as well, I think helped. But it was just energy for me. I had to go in with energy, that I was the new kid, I guess. More energy, don't have kids, not married. Everything that I was doing at that point was focused around getting my clients the best result. And that was my pitch ultimately, to come over.
You obviously became very good at that pitch, like sitting there and being able to convince people that you really are the best option for us to get the most money for our property.
There's a lot of established agents in the area as well, but they were all a lot older than me. So that was... I think that was the winning formula for me at that time.
Yeah.
Didn't get everything, but it helped a lot.
Yeah, it was. But that was an era where real estate was still more of an old man's game, wasn't 100%. It? It was, I went into my real estate office and everyone was like it was weird to see young agents.
Yeah.
Now there's more young agents than old agents.
100%.
And there's young people coming through in their 20s making like crazy money, and that was never heard of back in those days. Hey, it was weird to see people even having an assistant.
Yeah.
Like if you had an assistant 15 years ago, you were killing it.
Yeah.
There
was no such thing as like an EBU or anything then. So, but yeah, it was energy, nothing else. Focus on that.
Yeah, and that's why I think like these days as well, why agents can get ahead so much quicker, because there's so much more training around, hey, get to this level, build a team. There was never that training from LJ Hooker or Ray White or anything to their people, because I work for LJ Hooker too. There was no training around get yourself to here, then build your team, and then you'll get to here. It was always just like how to do more sales as an individual.
Very catch and kill training, like quite short-sighted. I felt like, where's the next listing? Where's the next sale?
Only talk to sellers.
Yeah.
Buyers aren't worth your time. Talk to sellers. Find sellers. Never any chat about teams or team building. The highest performing agent in our office had me as an associate.
Yeah.
That was the only person out of probably 15 to 20 salespeople that had a full-time person on their team.
Yeah, right.
Everyone else was individual. The world has totally changed. You got to shift your mind to be building an actual business outside of you within that brand that you're in.
And like you said, the access to the information in order to learn that is so much more readily available now, like podcasts like this.
So agents, whoever's listening to this, you are in a fortunate position where content is free. Great leaders are out there. They're able to get their information out to you. It's so easily accessible. 15 years ago, you would have had to pay, $200 to get some CDs to put in your car, and you might be able to get a refreshed pack every year from your favorite author or whatever.
Funny story, a client, I sold a house to, I went back and saw him. He used to be in real estate, and he gave me this is going back maybe 10 years, gave me a giant box full of CDs and books of all the training courses and stuff. Because I put this in your car and listen to it.
Yeah, and did you? You didn't? Oh man, I did. I used to listen to the CDs. I had this like Toyota Corolla with a CD player I installed myself, and I had Lee Woodward's.
This box was full of all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh man, I loved that stuff. You got to soak it up when you got to always be soaking up, learning. Hey guys, just quickly, if you're loving this content and you're a real estate agent that's already thinking what it might be like to have your own real estate business and brand, then check out the show notes. There'll be a link to our Plum Partners website where you can leave an inquiry and me or one of my team members will reach out. We help agents to create, run, and grow their own real estate business and brand so they can earn more and set up a better future for themselves. So get keen, get in touch. Now let's get back to the episode. So when did you get your first team member then?
Probably by the age of 24, 25.
Did you notice a massive rise in your business straight after?
I think I was probably a bit early for me, to be honest, to be taking somebody on.
Good. Explain why.
Because I didn't really I hadn't developed those leadership skills myself. So I was it was almost the blind leading the blind in that sense. I think I just needed to focus on getting myself right and doing that before taking on team members. So I think by the time I was in my late 20s, that was when I started to build a team that lasted a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit longer.
Did you learn some lessons from those earlier times?
Yeah.
Like if you could go back and do it again, what would you do differently?
Soaking up as much information as I could back then and looking outside of the office I was in for information, like learning from others in terms of how they did it and why they did that and how they were successful. That's a big thing, I think. I don't think I really looked outside of where I was for any additional training or info.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So that's a really good point. Like, guys, you have to look outside the office that you're in for other information about how this industry works, especially if you're not in a high-performing office, right? Because it sounds like your office was quite small with only a few salespeople.
When I started, it was pretty big. There was, it was an office doing 25, 30 sales a month when I first started. That's 2009. When I was, I guess, at the peak of my powers, so to speak. When I was performing at a higher level, it was three or four sales.
Yeah, right. And that's a danger when you are in a small office and you're the highest performer. There's no one else to learn from. And if you're not seeking outside knowledge, you might, constrict your level of thinking about what's possible as well.
Yeah.
So, no, awesome. So what would you say for you? Because now you're very far progressed. You're 15 years in. You've got the hang of it now. You've even opened your own business with Plum Partners, which is awesome. I'm so happy to be working with you. What's the best 2 ways that you get listings now that you can think of?
Now it's very much networking. So the majority of the deals we've done this year so far have been repeat and referral clients. So I'm sort of at that point now where I'm selling homes, I've sold 3 or 4 homes for
the same people.
The same people.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a big one, but cold calling is the other, and then just leveraging the sales, I think.
Okay. And do you do the cold calls these days?
I'm doing more.
You're doing more cold calls right now?
I'm doing more than what I was doing at El Jugo.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Okay. So you're that's awesome. You're getting your hands dirty with your team, training them as well. And I see in your office, you've got like a competition going about how many appraisals the team can do. Tell me about what that is.
So we've just peeled it right back rather than focusing on, how many sales, how many listings we want a month. We've peeled it back to the numbers that we need to do in order to shoot towards that. So we're aiming for 30 appraisals a month.
Yeah.
We've got the board there for everyone to see, tally up who's doing what.
And you feel like you lost focus of doing that before? Is that why you've introduced that recently? Yeah, nice. Because that happens sometimes when you're just doing things a certain way, and you start to just focus on how many listings, how many sales did we do, and what total value, how much commission did we make this month? But none of that stuff really matters, does it?
I think you want to play that out over the year. Where do you want to be? What level do you want to get to in the year? Okay, let's work that back. Like how many properties do you need to appraise in order to sell that many homes? And
that's right. You've got to work the numbers backwards. It's not that those end results don't matter, but that end result isn't just a result of that bit at the end. It's a result of what you did to get opportunities, get indoors, get listings. Because really, the sell in real estate is the listing presentation. Right. That's when we're selling ourselves. That's when our real salesmanship comes on. Yeah. And you've got to be getting more of that. So how do we get more of that? So you're going right back to the basics. How many appraisals can our team do in a week? And what do you think? To earn the commission that you do, you're in the 1.2 to 1.5 amount of GCI, 60 deals a year. What sort of like numbers do you think that your team should be hitting in order to achieve that kind of success?
We're aiming for 30 appraisals a month between the three of us.
30 appraisals between three of you?
Majority's on me,
yeah,
and then the Bianca and Amy, yeah.
What do you consider an appraisal?
Face-to-face.
A face-to-face appointment.
Face-to-face appointment.
So you have to get...
invited you into their home. Like it's not a PPR or whatever that you can send out.
Right.
We've got a separate tally for those.
Yeah. So, because people often get confused. It's like, oh, they're told to do appraisals. What exactly is an appraisal? That's just sending someone a email with a price update on their home. You're saying,
that's
no.
important as well.
That some people consider that like an appraisal, and fair enough, it doesn't matter. But your definition of an appraisal in your office is we got to be face to face, walking inside this person's house.
Yeah, someone's invited them into their home to give them an idea on value, market.
And how do you mainly achieve 30 appraisals a month? Because I know you're going to get some through your open homes, you meet people, you talk to them.
Yeah, that's one. So I've booked 2 of those this week off the back of open homes, buyer inquiry. Cold calls, the other one.
So what are some questions that you'll always ask during your callbacks after open homes to make sure that you are leveraging that conversation and finding out the information that you need to try and get an invitation into their home?
First part of the callback for me is to obviously focus on the house that they've looked at, any interests, what do they think, feedback for the seller. Have they been looking for a while? If they're reasonably new, then getting an understanding of what they're looking for, why they're moving. In order to buy their next home, are they needing to sell their current home? So I think there's the assumption that they own a home.
Are there any indicators that you'll use to try and find out if they own a home?
Yeah, we'll look them up when we're...
You usually look them up first?
Before we've spoken to them.
Yeah, nice. So your process
most of the time, depends how busy you are. Like I think you waste time if you're looking every single person up before you're calling them. Like if you've got 20, 25 groups of an open home, you've done 4 on a Saturday. If you're looking everyone up before you make the call, it can get a little bit...
Yeah, that can be hard. Something that a VA or something that could do for you though.
Yep.
But one thing that I noticed is that first and foremost, you're really focused on helping them.
Yeah.
You've got to build that rapport first. You
can't just flat out jump in and say,
right.
Do you have a house to sell?
Yeah, and some agents get a bit eager. They're like, callbacks. Okay, oh, hey, you came through that home. Oh, nice. Do you live around here? Would you like an appraisal on your home too?
Yeah.
And they're asking the question in the first 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Instead of, first and foremost, I'm here to help the customer.
Yeah.
I'm here to find out if they like the home. What feedback can I give to my vendor? Can I help this person buy anything else? Can I build some rapport with this person and have a bit of a to and fro conversation going, whilst in the mix finding out some extra information about where they live and whether they might be doing something?
Sometimes it takes a secondary call in the week to get the appointment.
Exactly.
If you've clarified that they are a homeowner, you might not have been able to get the appointment on the day. Might take a call from Amy or Bianca as a follow-up to sort of clarify, get their email, get all the info, put it into the system, and then ask again.
Exactly. And so sometimes they don't feel comfortable giving you the appraisal on the first call, because you have to remember as well, agents, is that when you're calling back a buyer on the weekend, you're not the only agent calling them back. They've had a callback from the 5 other agents, most likely, from the 5 other open homes that they've been through. And every agent has probably asked them, hey, where do you live? And can I do an appraisal for you? Yeah. Right? So you've got to be doing it in a way that is better than everyone else. So have a think about your approach to asking this question. And I think the best approach is to always build rapport through giving and through servicing first before you ask.
They've told you anything as well.
Yeah.
The open home.
That's another good one.
Because if you can start the conversation on the callback by remembering some feedback that they've already given you on the home, sometimes it's hard. You have, you 10, 20 groups through and everyone's telling you different things, but that breaks down the barrier straight away. Because like you said, they've got 5 agents calling from the 5 open homes they've been to. Everyone's just asking that same question. What did you think? Are you going to make an offer? But if you can say, hey, I remember we spoke out the front, you didn't like this, this, and this. Is that still the case after you've looked at other homes? It just...
Well, it shows that you care, and it shows that you're attentive as well. You're aware of the situation. And you have to get really good at that, right? You have to, like, open homes are essential. There's so much information that you can take in an open home, but sometimes it can be busy. There's 20, 30 groups lining up, you know, and perhaps if you're on your own, that's even more difficult because you're trying to check people in and you're trying to ask questions and then you're trying to walk around and be friendly, but more and more people are rocking up. So that's why you should have an assistant if you're really busy.
Yeah, always two people.
Because you need to make the most of those open homes, right? That's when people will give a lot more up face to face. You can ask, hey, do you live around here? And they'll tell you, and and you might not get another chance to talk to them. Let's not forget that when we do our callbacks, how many people do not answer their phone and do not call us back, right? We might get to talk to 50% of the people that come through our open home on a Monday, and the other 50 will leave messages we might even text them and not even hear from them. And we'll try them again and again in the week. We might get some more of them, but we might not. So at that open home, right, you got to take advantage of that.
100%.
So what would you do in an open home to just make sure you're getting the most out of it?
Like you said, always have two people. So someone checking them in, that gives me the ability to float around, ask questions. I think nobody wants to be bothered at an open home. Like you've got to keep your distance, you know, engage if people want to engage with you. Like I said, you can start getting some feedback from buyers at that point in terms of whether they're interested or not. And like you said, just softer questions. Are you local?
Yeah.
How long have you been looking? All that.
Absolutely. And people, you're right. People don't want to be bothered. It's not, they don't want you to walk them around the home. They want they want to walk around the home themselves. You know, if it's a private inspection, different, you know, you meet them there and you may walk them around the home depending. But even in most cases, like you might walk them to a certain area or
give them the option at the start.
And give them the option. And you can say that to people at the open home or even at the inspection. Hey, if you'd prefer to look at the house yourself, just do that. Yep. I'll stay here. If you've got any questions, come and see me. If you'd like me to walk around the house with you, I can do that as well.
100%.
Be fully transparent and they'll tell you rather than just guessing.
Most people don't want it.
Most people don't, but there are some that actually do.
Yeah.
And, you know, the ones that do and kind of expect, oh, that agent didn't really put any effort and walk around and show us. There is a percentage that want that, maybe 20, and maybe not at a busy open home, but definitely at a one-on-one private inspection. Some actually do want you to walk around, but so it's important to, you know, definitely give them the option and then let them go their way.
For sure.
So you obviously got that bit panned out well, but then, the callbacks are really important. And what else for getting, you know, listing appointments? It's the cold calling, is it?
Cold calling is something that we've really ramped up.
So how much of that does you and your team do?
Like I said, we're trying to hit 30 appraisals, so we're ramping that up a little bit over the last couple of months.
So the goal is it's like, doesn't matter how long it takes us to get it.
Yeah.
If it takes us 10 hours each of cold calling in a week or 4 hours, we got to get those 30 face-to-face appointments. That's the non-negotiable, right?
Yeah.
Like the team has to hit that.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen as a result of that? You might not list any of that. You might not even list any of those properties, right?
Yeah, but we're building the pipeline. We're building the funnel. And that's something that I've had to realign in terms of trying to look at this a lot more long-sighted rather than short-sighted.
Yeah. Exactly. So not just looking like, oh, which person out of this open home needs to sell now?
Yeah. So we're feeling if we get 30 appraisals in a month and none of them are selling next month, that's okay because eventually they're gonna come out of the funnel at some point in time. So whether they're a 20-minute appraisal or a 2-hour listing presentation, they're all going into that funnel and eventually 3, 6, 9 months down the track, because that's like the roller coaster of real estate, right? Like you list heaps, you sell them, you forget to prospect, or you choose not to prospect because you're busy, and then it dries up, and then you got to go hard on the prospecting again. So it's just trying to balance that.
Yeah, balance that and making it consistent that when you are busy listing, you're still keeping up with the prospecting.
Yeah,
and that's really hard to do. And really, like you really need a team to do it really well because as an individual agent, when you get really busy listing, you run out of resources if it's just you. Yeah. And it does get very hard to be prospecting as hard as you can when you're listing so much and you have to get these properties on the market and sell them. And so that you go like that. So you have to build the team.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
So mate, you started your own business. I'd love to ask you a couple of questions like that. So you'd been 15 years at the same office.
Yep.
And you had a great time there. You learned a lot. You grew a lot. What was it? What was the reason for you to go and start your own?
It's a good question. I think ultimately I was comfortable. You know, I was too comfortable. I think I'd reached as far as I could go there. So I needed to change. I needed to get outside of my comfort zone. I needed to grow. I wanted to be in a network where I was surrounded by, I guess, like-minded people in that sense, which is, you know, what we've got with Plum Partners and sort of the training and everything that we do and that we have access to. So that was one of the big drivers for me, is just to get
to that next level, right?
Challenge.
And that's the thing, eh? Like, you get comfortable, and that's what makes it a bit scary, because being comfortable is nice, and then you got to make a big change, and you're like, oh, there might be some pain.
There's definitely some pain.
Yeah.
I've never been more uncomfortable than I am right now.
Yeah.
In the last 15 years, but it's good. I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm building something that's mine and that I can share with people along the way. So,
and how is the reaction? Because people often fear, I'm going out on my own. What are people going to think? Are people still going to list with me? You know, how much does the brand that I worked in for 5, 10, 15 years or whatever, how much does that mean to people when I'm sitting in their living room at a listing presentation? Has that affected you at all?
I think there's always going to be people out there that gravitate to a bigger franchise. I think it's a very, very, very smaller portion of the market now than it ever has been before. But all I've been really, really supported by, you know, the clients that I've dealt with and that I've had. You know, a lot of them have come with me to list their homes in this first 7 months. So there wasn't any issue there. Great support. Everyone's sort of happy to see you taking a stab at it for yourself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I found that, you know, we've launched over 40 agents into their own businesses now, and it's the same story every time. The agent is fearful of what the impact's going to be like to the market. They're so worried about what the market's going to think when they're the only one worrying about it. No one else cares. Everyone else is actually stoked for you.
Yeah.
And they support you just because you're changing to having your own business, which is actually a step up in their mind. You're now not an employee for another business. You're now opening your own business.
Yeah.
That's like, everyone knows that's a pretty ballsy move. And now they're dealing with the director of their own business. That's actually a step up.
Yeah.
So in actual fact, what I found and what pretty much all agents that do launch their own business is that they find it even easier to list when they're in there. But it doesn't mean that they have to give up the essential part of what brings in the business. You have to still prospect just as hard, 100%. Right? Going out on your own doesn't mean, oh, he went out on his own, I'm going to call him. No, you got to keep those relationships going. You got to, you know, get your letterbox drops out, make your calls, get your appraisals.
Yeah, you got to invest more in your business than you ever had. That's something that I'm doing now. You know, majority of the money is going back into marketing and exposure. It's like it's gone full circle, I think, for me as well. Like I said before, when I was 21, 22, trying to win business, it was energy, enthusiasm, you know, to get the business. Now it's the same, it's just at a different level. You know, I'm the director of the business now, so there's no one more motivated than me to get you the best result, because it's my business. You know, I've got a point to prove. I'm out there trying to build something. So sort of.
And that's powerful. That's powerful chat when you're across from someone. And what was the process like, you know, making the shift? You know, you've been doing you're in the same sort of business for 15 years, and then you go, I'm going out on my own. Was the process difficult? Was there a lot to think about, a lot to do?
15 years in the one place, so I wasn't really sure what to expect in terms of making that step. But I think partnering with you guys, taking away all of that hard stuff, you know, the back end, the trust accounts, the marketing, everything just made it super easy. Like, the transition was pretty easy. You know, we went straight into setting up an office, getting a space. So that took a little bit of time. But again, the support from Plum was there to handle everything that I guess is the scariest stuff for a lot of people thinking about taking that plunge.
Yeah.
Who's going to manage the trust accounts? Like, who's going to set up the marketing? Who's going to handle all the contracts and everything? But it's,
Well, thank you for that kind compliment, because we've worked really hard to pull together a world-class team that help agents to do this, because there is a lot to think about and a lot that you need to do. And you got to keep your mind on the game, right? Because you've still got to earn money. Your primary role is, I got to list and sell and bring money in for the business so that I can pay myself, pay my employees, and then essentially grow my business over time. And you got to there's so many little things to do.
Yeah, but the processes you've put in place are a lot more advanced and way more streamlined for us. So we don't really need to worry about anything else other than finding business, securing contracts, and getting our brand out there to our marketplace.
Yeah.
Everything else is taken care of.
So what was the hardest part, like, about making the decision to go out on your own?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it was the fact that I had a really good relationship with everybody there.
Okay.
I'd been there for so long, and it was sort of all I'd ever known. So there was a big element of loyalty for what my principals there had done for me in terms of getting me in and helping me grow. But I think all good things come to an end, and it was just the right time for me to move on and challenge myself in something different because I wanted to grow and do something more. So.
Yeah, good answer, man. Yeah, and it's not the same position for everyone. Like some people leave because they're restricted, or some people leave because, they feel like their commission split they feel like they're not getting enough of the cut. Like some people, the business sells and they have to make it. So there's always a different reason, but you just really wanted to go to that next level.
Yeah.
Well, mate, I'm so glad to be part of your journey. I know there's a big team helping you with that, but thank you for putting your trust in me and my team to help you to get to that next level and launch new property. It's looking awesome. Pleasure. You're doing great.
Thank you.
And mate, you're going to be one of the superstars in this network. I know it.
Fingers crossed. Watch this space. 12 months time, I'll be back on and we can talk about where we're at.
Absolutely. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you for tuning into the Get Keen podcast. If today's episode inspired you, please show your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And make sure you subscribe on your favorite platform too. Don't stop there. Join our community of forward thinkers by connecting with me on social media at Dan_Lee_Plum. I'm looking forward to exploring more strategies and insights with you on your journey to the top. Until next time, keep getting keen.